All right, hello and welcome to Swing It and Ding It, an iHeartMedia podcast. We are sponsored by Draftkings Sportsbook. More on that when we see the line for the RBC Canadian Open. And our friends from All Access GTE, the best way to travel in the world of golf. We'll tell you a little bit more about that later. And of course, our friends from Comcast Business, introducing ultimate speed for business, the fastest internet plans yet from Comcast Business, powering possibilities. Harry Mays, Danielle Matthews, welcome back to the program.
Oh, it's good to be back. It's been like
Yeah,
2
we
weeks.
missed you.
People were asking, they're like, "Are you not a member?" I was like, "No, very much a member." We just
Yeah,
had
no,
some
we're
schedule
not letting you off the hook
changes.
that easy. There ain't no way.
No,
No way. Harry, good to see you.
Great to be here, Moose. We've got an esteemed guest tonight to tell us all about the champions that they are over at the Lulu Country Club.
A return
Yeah,
guest, Harry.
baby.
Yes.
We love return guests. That's right. We welcome back Jon Rusk, general manager over at Lulu. And John, let's start with that. What we know about Lulu is you don't really need an excuse or a reason to party there, but when there is, what is that like?
We revolve our golf around our partying. Some people put their golf and their party together. Now our parties starts, and now we figure out when we're going to golf around that. It's a great place. It's laid back atmosphere. Hopefully we get Danielle's child to be a member one day. Bring him up, her or him, I don't know. So it is the spot to be. We've been very fortunate the last 5, 6, 7 years. Between the fire and COVID, we love a good disaster here. It's been the best thing for golf. It's been the best thing for the club with those things. And we've been rocking and rolling ever since. We love it.
I do have to admit, just seeing the celebrations from your club, from Lulu. I was talking to B about it the other day because I said, "Oh, we got Russ coming on the podcast." I said, and he's like, "Yeah, they just won the Gap." I go, "I know they just won." I said, "You think I didn't see all their celebrations?" That's the best part is watching how Lulu celebrates after a win. And he mentioned something about a cowbell.
We've got cowbells, we've got lobster claws, we've got championship belts. We had an MVP chain this year. We've got WWF belts. Whatever you can think of, we've got. We had a good time. I don't remember much after 7 o'clock at night. I know I got put in Uber and get sent home. So that's kind of after 7 o'clock. I don't know what happened after that. That's what I'm going with.
Now you won 4 of the 6 divisions and the overall for the second time in club history, right?
Correct. So yeah, for us, it's cool to win the overall, but more importantly, the gap for the club is more about. We have 6 men's teams, and we also have a women's team. We treat all of them the same. We want everybody to compete and win. But more importantly, it's about, when I was growing up, it was about playing the golf, but then you go in afterwards, you have a nice lunch, have 7 to 10 beers, and you call it a Sunday afternoon. That's kind of what we bring back. Yeah, that's kind of our philosophy and kind of what we're bringing back. We get a little bit frowned upon with our party scene atmosphere a little bit, but that's what we do, and we're comfortable with it. That's what I grew up with, and like I said, it's awesome to win the championship overall, the AA. That's where you want to be. But we won 4 out of 6 divisions. Our ladies went from the 10th cup or the 12th cup to they super jumped to the 8th cup. That's just as important to us, the women's golf and the other divisions, as it is winning the AA championship. So we were excited. The guys were hurting for a few days. The girls actually are rowdier than the boys, to be honest with you. There's some security footage of what they were doing, which we can't talk about, but they got a little rowdy with it as women.
John, we're working with a IV hydration therapy place called Hydrolux in Haddonfield. They do mobile. They will come out for the day
Bruce,
after.
you just found your number one client.
Yes,
Right.
I can tell you, we definitely need them for our member guests in September. So shoot me that email.
I will. Yeah,
Just
we're going to try to get
right
them out
right there. Park right in their parking lot.
The day 2 of a member guest or a member. I mean, it takes everything you got to get back.
It's a home run. Those IV things are the best. I mean, they're not. You pay like $100 or something, but it's well worth it because you get right back on the saddle.
It gets you back to neutral.
Gets you right back to neutral.
We'll send the info. They'll actually be out at our golf outing out at the Legacy Club on the 15th. But John, talk about that. How about how you had actually 2 teams in the top 4 in AA? How cool is that?
It is. Look, we've got a club where when we started in 2015, we had 150 members. It's, I don't want to say it's a cheap membership, but look, it's very affordable. It costs you $1,000 to $5,000 for the club that you're getting. So people at other clubs, once you can either age out of a junior membership at another club or they hit 40 at another club, they don't have $10, $15, $20,000 to spend. So where are they going to go? They're going to come to us. We've got 550 members at a very affordable price, and that's kind of our business plan. So, people bust our chops a little bit. We got all the best players. Well, why? Because it's $1,000 to $5,000 club. People, I didn't have $10,000 when I was 25. I don't have $10,000 now. I'm 45. I got a wife and 3 kids and a mortgage. Everybody knows where that money goes.
And there's empty shelves behind you.
I mean, look, I know I'm going to get ripped on about these shelves. It's like, this is how, you got to save the money for the wife and kids.
Guys, we'll put the address and the GoFundMe out to get some boxes of cereal and some canned goods for Rusk back there.
But I know. You should see what my TV's on. It's so embarrassing. But like the average age of the club is 42. The average age of the club in Philadelphia is 58 years old. So we're very young. We're very aggressive. We've been called the loudest toddlers in the room. We like to have a good time. We like to golf. We like to compete, but we want it to be an affordable price too. I don't want to be a club that some guy's scraping and clawing at $10,000, $15,000. And if you want that atmosphere, that's fine. Like there's a lot of great clubs that do that. There just is. That's not who we are. That's not the program we built. That's not that's not our clientele. So that's kind of what we do. We make it very affordable for the average guy, and we hoot and holler and we have a good time.
Well,
aside from the oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Harry.
Well, aside from the hooting and hollering and the partying, what have you done over there to develop this culture of winning on the golf course?
Like I said, it comes down to, these guys, let's call it aging out at other clubs. They don't have the $10,000, $15,000. So they want to still compete. And our gap team's very good, but at the end of the day, you go over there on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night, these guys get done working. Like tonight, there's David Kim, Wills Montgomery, PJ. Those guys are all rolling in there at 5, 6 o'clock at night, and they're going to go play 9 holes.
Mm-hmm.
To us, the players that we have, we've got a lot of good players, but it's more about the game, like the Thursday night game, the Saturday morning game, if the guys show up, the Sunday game. It's more about the game than it is about the winning a championship or something like that. Like I said, that's all cool, but they come out every night. These kids, I'm on a group text. These guys are texting right now. Where are you at? I'm going to take a picture, send it to you guys, or send it to them. That's who was making fun of me about my shells when I sent them a picture. To us, it's about the game, men and women. Like I said, the women have really started to build a women's program. Women is a big part of the golf right now. It's growing at like 5-6%, even more than the men. So we can really focus on the women.
I heard you guys are actually letting them drive the golf carts now too. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, don't get me started on how women get treated at golf courses. I think it's pretty bad. Women at our golf course can play. You guys want to play at 7 o'clock in the morning? They come at 7 o'clock and tee off on a Saturday morning. A lot of courses don't let that.
Mm-hmm.
They have
just keep the pace of play up, ladies.
Well, trust me, they hit it. They piddle down the middle. So same with the seniors. We got the green tees. We let them go. But yeah, we love having our women out at the Lou. They play. They don't play at 7 in the morning, but they're out there 8, 9 o'clock on a weekend morning.
Do they have games there? Like
they do. Yeah,
they have games and gamble and.
Yeah, they have like 12 women. They have like a birdie tree. It's called. I'm not sure what they do, to be honest with you. I don't want to say that, but like I'm a big supporter of women's golf. The women's gap, I wish they would play on the weekends more instead of like they play on Tuesdays and Fridays.
Yeah,
I have a problem with that. Like I've made my voice known to the women's gap. I think it's ridiculous that they can't play on the weekends like the men can.
Someone has to watch the kids.
Well, that's kind of how they're treated.
You're talking to the wrong woman here, John. You're talking.
Yeah, like she's pregnant, man. God bless. It's a tough thing for me when it has to. Like I got a little daughter. I don't want to tell her she can't play on a Saturday morning, and that bothers me. I've been down that road with them. They don't like my vocal opinion on it, but I don't care. When women work nowadays, it's not the 1950s, 60s, 70s, 80s. Like they're working. They want to play on Saturdays. They want to play. It is what it is. I don't care. Let them play.
Well, there's opportunity for them to play at the Lou if they want to come out and play on the weekends.
Well, talk about Sully. I mean, how about Sully still has it, man? Sweeps his matches. I mean, talk about it, Harry. I mean, that's your guy. That's your inside golf.
Stop the charade, man. That guy. First of all, I didn't like that guy growing up. Okay, hated. I don't know if I'm allowed to cuss on that, but I hated that dude. And then one day he rolls up, he starts putting on the putting green. Back when I was working, I was like, "Yeah, you're not even a member here. You got to beat it." We became excellent friends. I talk to him pretty much every day now. We almost benched him for the playoff. His game is in shambles, and I'll tell you, he stinks right now. He drop kicks it, he shanks it. But we sent him to his own
gamer.
spot. Dude, the guy's a train wreck. I played with him in a team match. It was like, no, I wasn't playing any good, but I'm not benching myself. Let's be honest.
Coach is playing his kid.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Coach is playing his kid. So look, I said to bench him. I got outvoted. Brownie and Glenn and PJ, they outvoted me. They said, no, we're sending him to Huntington Valley. He goes out, gets 9 points, and basically wins it. Him and Scott and Kevin White and the college kid, they all dominated. And then you get guys like me and PJ who just hung on, and we take all the credit for that.
Absolutely. Talk about the golf course. It's a fantastic Donald Ross classic, and it's always in great shape. And you've done some work on the irrigation system over the off season, right? I think you're about finished with that, and then you're going to start a tee box renovation at some point this year.
Yeah. So the last 2 years we've done about 2.7 in renovations. We've come a long way from hanging out in the trailers and this, that, and the other. So the irrigation system's wrapped up. Bunkers are wrapped up. Both turned out awesome. Tyler Ray, architect, really helped us with the bunkers. He came out, this last fall, and we started redoing some fairway lines now that we have irrigation. So the first 7 holes, he brought back the fairways that were kind of original and would lead them into the bunkers the correct way. I tried doing that 1 year, absolute disaster. So if you're looking at hiring somebody, hire an architect. Don't think you're smarter than architects. The reason we hired him is because we built a new tee box. Like, oh, this looks great. First thing he says, that's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. I said, you're hired, Tyler. I said, I don't know who you are, but you're hired. Tyler is the best. He is a down-to-earth guy. He works hard. He's really taken off the last 5-6 years. So he's helped us redo our fairway lines. He's going to help us redo some tee boxes this fall, or give us the ideas, and then Mott Golf will come in, or Brian Lake Golf will come in and build them for us. We tried building them ourselves again. That was a nightmare. I've learned a lot in the last 10 years of hire people that are smarter than you and know what they're doing, because people think that they can run a golf course. You can't. You make dumb decisions. You just think you know what you're doing, but you don't. Hire people that know what they're doing. Listen to good advice from people. Everybody thinks they can run a golf course. I played golf my entire life. The amount of dumb things. We built a putting green. It's a piece of crap. My idea, we got to pay for that to get that fixed. So hire people that know what they're doing is what I like to tell people when they're looking at golf courses.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
In more areas than just golf. In general.
I've wasted a few $100,000 on stupid crap. Just thinking I knew what I was doing, and now we got to pay to fix it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, listen, being out there, in the past and different things we've done, the clubhouse is tremendous. I mean, I think that's just added so much and probably has made it more of a 12-month, kind of situation with guys hanging out, the simulators, multiple too, right? Having that kind of, and the way it sets up just as part of the bar and lounge. And that atmosphere is so cool. You don't feel like you're secluded somewhere, very cool there.
Yeah, a lot of courses are calling us. I got a call later tonight with another golf courses redoing it. Always welcome to give people what we learned and give it to them, because a lot of courses now they want to build that indoor-outdoor thing. I know a course right up the road from us just built something. They kind of copied us, which I think is awesome. So I'm glad we were kind of the first kind of club to. But again, we burned down, so it was easy for us. It's not as easy as a Huntington Valley that's had a clubhouse there for 100 years and they've got to redo everything. Ours was all right. Let's start from scratch and do it. So we lucked out, and I'm always welcome to help people that want help with ideas and stuff. Again, they weren't my ideas, thank God, but I give them, the blueprint if they need help with stuff like that.
Very cool.
Good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know you're very busy between running Lulu and playing golf when you can and family stuff, but do you ever get to watch any PGA Tour golf? Because I'd love to get your thoughts on the state of the game right now.
I've tried to watch it. Like, I want to see guys that I got to the Nationwide Tour, was called at the time, Corn Fair, I guess it's called now.
Mm-hmm.
So I like to watch those guys, but a lot of them went to live, like Bubba Watson went to live. A lot of them stinking to retire now. So it's hard for me. I do watch the majors. The whole thing with live and the PGA Tour, I don't know. Like, I just want to watch golf. I want to see Brooks Koepka there. Like I love Brooks Koepka. I hated DeChambeau until I don't know what happened this week. That guy was awesome.
You like him now, right?
It was weird. Like everybody was rooting for the guy, and I'm like, let's go, Bryson. So like I don't watch. I'm not going to watch the John Deere Classic, but I certainly will turn to the majors and this, that, and the other. Yeah, but golf's just weird right now. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great. It's great for clubs, but the whole live thing, look, it's gonna get solved. I was pretty anti-live when it started. I was like, forget those guys. But somebody wants to throw $10 million at me, like I said, I would have done it. No questions asked. If I was 25, 26, I'm 45, I'll take $500 right now. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's getting better. Hopefully they solve it by the end of this year. I'd like to see some of those guys come back. Yeah. I don't need to see Graham McDowell's. I don't need to see, Lee Westwood or some of these guys that are 50, pushing 50, Ian Poulter. Yeah. But I liked Phil Mickelson. I liked watching him. Mm-hmm. He kind of turned me off with stuff that he said. But I do miss watching everybody competing together. It's like, as an average golf fan, I miss seeing Brooks Koepka and DeChambeau at tournaments. So hopefully they fix that.
No doubt. Well, hey, thanks for hopping back on. Congratulations again to you guys. I appreciate your generosity of what you told me before the show there. That's awesome. Supporting our golf event and our charity partner, the Magic Foundation. We'll raise some money there for sure. So much appreciated, John. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Talk soon. Appreciate it, guys.
All right, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Swing It and Ding It. Always great to talk to the great Jon Rusk over at Lulu. Lulu's fun, man. I gotta get back out there just for like a regular round and a regular hang. I feel like I'm out there, but it's always for something. I know. I want to just go out and just spend the day.
Yeah, like I'm always doing the inside golf stuff over there, and it's like
looking good. I see
next
over
time.
there.
Yeah, but next time I want to go over there, I want to be able to play around and then maybe do some inside golf.
Yeah,
you got the funny part is the only time I've ever been there, I did a commercial and a promo for them, and he just had me like hitting shots on the par 3 and putting, but I've never actually played. So we'll have to do a whole group outing. I don't know if I can party like you guys. I might need 3 days recovery from what it sounds like and from what I see how those guys party, but definitely got to find our way back out there.
And they were kind enough to host us last year for the Mike Tallarita day to honor Tals with his family. Hopefully we get to get back out there. It was a beautiful day. I think it was in the fall, wasn't it?
That was perfect that day.
Oh my God. What a day. Yeah. So always a good day at the Lou. But how about that Charles Schwab challenge? I got to be honest. I didn't watch a ton of this weekend. Mm-hmm. I had an opportunity to, and this is what's kind of freaking me out lately, guys. I'm not going to lie. I need something to like spark to get me like, listen, I'm into it. I'm into the majors. I watch a lot of golf, but a tournament like this, even though Scheffler was playing, I'm just not drawn.
But Moose, do you think an element of it is that in the Northeast, the weather's starting to improve a little bit? I know talking to like
Memorial Day weekend, I was out
today, tomorrow, the next day. So it's like you have the opportunity to play golf. It's not like you're like, oh, it's 75 degrees finally. I'm going to sit inside and watch.
That definitely could be a lot of it. But I think it's just the state of the professional game. The guys don't live from what I did. But then again, you have Scheffler, who you feel like has a chance to make it, and you just want to watch that guy. That's who I want to watch, right? But Davis Riley says, no, Scotty, not today, not this weekend. Here's a guy. He has 7 missed cuts in his last 14, only one top 20 or top 25, and it's like, but you feel like his name's mentioned a lot, right? It's like people kind of knew that he was hanging around, and what I do love about this tournament though is what you get when you win, right? The whole the car jacket, the car.
The car is so sweet.
This year it was a Corvette.
Was cool. Like a blue,
Corvette. The car's always that same color. That light blue is just a cool blue. But man, and then
obviously the news with Grayson Murray just happened. Comes out, and then it just is like, man, like you just feel like this awful gut-wrenching feeling about this. Whatever you think about the guy, right? He was a polarizing figure at times, and but a 30-year-old professional golfer who has been through so much and has been so vocal about it. The story comes out, and you're just like, oh my God, I cannot believe this. cannot believe this is happening. And, that had to be tough. That had to be a tough decision to continue to have the tournament. It had to be tough. Imagine the guys, you saw the emotions with Peter Malnati and others, like guys that were literally there with him the day before playing golf, to go forward with that just had to be really, really difficult. So I know there's more information that's kind of been coming out about it, but just a crazy, crazy, sad scene and situation this weekend.
Yeah, it had to be tough, but I never underestimate a professional athlete's ability to compartmentalize when it comes down to, their business.
Yeah.
And,
true.
Obviously it must not have been easy for a lot of those guys. Some of the guys, knew him really well and were friends with him. Not everybody was, but, either way, Malnati was a wreck.
Ooh.
And he had played the 2 days with him. And, I had heard over the weekend that Malnati, I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard that Malnati was so concerned about Grayson that after the round went to somebody with the tour and said, "You got to go check on that guy."
Yeah,
Like somebody
I also
needs
heard
to
those
check on him.
rumors. He went to the PGA Tour officials.
Yeah. And that really hits
Alarming.
home, and that's alarming. And that's why I thought it was really odd that Monahan was there. The commissioner comes out for this thing and makes a statement and comes on CBS. That looked like straight CYA to me. And I don't know what's going to, if anything develops, whatever. But that's the way I looked at Jay Monahan being there.
Yeah. I mean, Grayson was open about his struggles with his alcoholism and his anxiety and, had kind of become an advocate for mental health awareness on the PGA Tour. And, a lot of Jay's press conferences and remarks were what they were building to try to help. And I even asked Brandon, like, hey, what is that support system like? Because I know working in the NBA previous, how that was for young guys who maybe came from nothing and all of a sudden have millions of dollars. And it's like these guys turn to drugs, alcohol, partying. They have so much money they don't know what to do with. And Grayson having such, early success at a young age kind of was echoing those same sentiments that a lot of the, players in the NBA that I heard did early on in my career. It's like all of a sudden you have all this money and you don't know what to do. And then you start, indulging in different areas of partying. And then, as you mentioned, Harry, like obviously the stresses of it. And we'll get into it later with talking about Lexi Thompson, who was just talking about the stress of it. I hear players all the time talking about how lonely it is. And when you don't have your family traveling with you, it's really tough. I heard those same rumors with Peter Malnati going to the tour officials, everything else. It's really tough. I know Harry actually broke the news via text to Moose and I literally was getting ready to leave the house and I just completely shut down, as well as I believe the rest of the golf world, just being struck with tragedy like that, knowing Grayson. It really, really tough. But I think it's a good time to take a moment to address mental health for us. And if there is anyone who's listening or struggling, there is the National Suicide Crisis Lifeline in the United States. You can just dial 988 or check in online, 988lifeline.org, or DM us. You might not know us very well, or you might be a listener of the pod, but if you guys are struggling, reach out to us. And hopefully, we heard Harry Higgs say it too, that this kind of, lets everybody be a little more understanding of their athletes, their people too. And, just being kind to everybody, even outside of the golf world.
Yeah, and Danielle, I mean, he lives right near you guys, right? And I know he's affiliated. He was involved with the Golf for Cops charity that you guys do some stuff with, right? So I know there were a lot of connections, and eventually it seemed like that's actually there was a lot of uncertainty about what happened after he left the golf course on Friday, right? Where did he go? But it looks like he did return back to the Florida area.
Yeah, I just learned that actually right before we were jumping on the podcast here. I shared that in a group text because I was just kind of doing some due diligence to make sure didn't miss any golf news. And I saw Palm Beach police were investigating. He lived 10 minutes from us. And unfortunately, his parents did reach out to the tour and say, hey, we want the tournament to keep going. It's what Grayson would have wanted. But his parents did share that he did take his own life. And the Palm Beach police were called after nitrous oxide alarms were going off. He did fly back to his home in Jupiter, and he ended up passing from carbon monoxide poisoning.
That's crazy. I thought it was kind of strange that the fiance, the girlfriend's name wasn't mentioned, or any mention of her existence in that statement from the family too.
Yeah,
That
Harry, a
stood
lot
out
of
to
people
me.
were bringing that up and saying
Yeah.
that. I believe that they were scheduled to get married in Pinehurst in April, and people were saying that that was canceled. So, there
A
was
lot going on.
in 6 months' time going from Sony to saying she's the greatest thing in the family and the support system to this. So,
Mhm.
whether it's a week, 2 weeks, a month, 6 months in this case, you can just see how people have struggles. So, the reports coming out of Palm Beach Garden said the fiance still lived with him, but she wasn't
Yeah.
in town, I guess, when he came home. So, not up to his family and, everybody who knew and cared for him and
Yeah.
anybody else who may be struggling. Just really tough time in the golf world.
Absolutely crazy.
Doesn't seem like it was that long ago when we were talking about him hitting that big putt to win the Sony in the
Sony.
playoff.
Yeah.
Remember when he gave the big fist pump and
Yeah.
had those cranberry colored slacks on?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And people just talking about seeing him on the range and saying how healthy and fit and
Right.
everything else good he looked. So it's just, another, testament that you never know what people are going through behind closed doors. So
Yeah. Yeah. And then, like you said, Harry, those guys have to just, persevere and finish a golf tournament and, and hit their shots. And, you have a guy in Davis Riley who gets his second win, right? So it's just nuts. And like we said, Scotty was making that charge. We talked about Keegan Bradley last week. He comes in third. Morikawa, who's been hanging around in fourth place. Straka, T5. So, to me, it's like who's tuning up for the next major, right? And I think we're seeing that now with this week in Canada, with 7 of the top 30 playing, but some guys seeming to kind of pull back and do some work. But talk about the finish of that tournament, Harry, because it's funny because he shoots even par. Which is, normally you see a Sunday winner that like goes off, right?
Right.
He just had to hold off.
Yeah. I think the big star of the weekend was the golf course and the redesign by Gil Hance. I mean, that's one thing that I
Philly
was
guy.
anxious to watch and to see how much they would show of what the golf course used to be versus now. And I thought CBS actually did a pretty good job of that on Sunday. At least, they'd show the whole, last year the green was over here and all this kind of stuff, just to show everything that they did. And they did it in a year's time, which is amazing to me. All the sod and everything that they had to bring in to totally redo that golf course. And that was really, the star. Davis Riley, credit to him, because I wanted to see Scotty make a run. In fact, I'm telling my wife, I played Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but I came home on Sunday in time to see Scotty because I'm thinking I'm going to see another 65 or 64, and he's going to come from behind to win it, and it's going to be great. And
Harry took
really,
my place as the number one Scotty fan.
yeah, well, he kind of had nothing on Sunday. He kind of ran out of gas. Now, he's been through a lot too over the last couple of months. We detailed all of it, and maybe he's just tired. Maybe he's just exhausted. I don't know, but he didn't have much on Sunday. And Davis Riley, to his credit, didn't fall apart. I mean, you said he shot par, but I mean, there's plenty of guys that enter the lead after 54 holes and put up a 75 and lose the golf tournament. He didn't do that.
Win by 5.
Exactly. Right. So credit to him. And he had won that team event last year, the one where Brandon and Sean O'Hare finished 7, right?
Yeah,
they won that. It was Nick Hardy, and it was pretty cool that he
was paired with
hung
them.
out, and he hung out and waited for him. I thought that was pretty cool. I always like to see how the guys celebrate at the end. So it was pretty cool, man. It's life changing, and it just goes to show you that these guys are that good that they can just find it. Like, you'll see guys go through these stretches, miscut. All of a sudden,
when you're hot, you're hot.
They find something, and all of a sudden they're at the top of the leaderboard on the final day. And you're like, how'd that happen? That guy's been playing like crap. Well,
and you think about it too, right? Because for those guys, it's a different course every week, right? So like something can just suit your game or fit your eye or just make sense for you one week that like you might not even have your best stuff, but you could play well out there. Or even probably more important, it's probably easier to put behind you the failures of the prior weeks because you're not looking at the same thing. It's like
Not
a
looking
whole
back.
new thing, right? Like, if you're a hockey player or something, it's that same sheet of ice that you're going to have to go take over, right? For these golfers, they can face some new challenges and hit some shots that maybe they're a little bit better at because of the way the course sets up. So much, Harry. The course, of course, is of course the story a lot of times. You know what I'm saying?
Well, sticking on the course, of course, Harry, like you said, the Gil Hansen Philly guy, like probably the busiest guy in golf course
everywhere.
architecture right now. Like, I'm like, what project is this guy not touching? But another successful project. And you said they did a great job of coverage, but I think it was also well received by the players. A lot of them were saying, like, I did not hear one negative comment. They were all saying like they loved all the changes, the renos, like modernized golf. I thought they, were all showcased really well. So I think that the course reno was a success. And then just on the same topic of Davis Riley, we'll sum it up with this. This was a decent quote, I thought. He said, "You got the number one player in the world breathing down your neck. Not really any shot lead is too comfortable." He said, "I knew at some point he was going to make a push, and I expected that." And he goes, "Honestly, he just tried to treat the day as if they both started tied, and I just tried to win the day." So that was his philosophy on going forward on Sunday, and it worked. There was that one little time where Scotty got went 3 shots, I think. And then, Riley birdied number 4 and then 5-shot lead and just kind of got away with it.
Yep. Yeah. It was so comfortable. I actually tuned out for a little while.
I did resort to my phone for a little bit and was like, okay,
I went to the hockey game.
Okay.
And then on the Corn Ferry Tour, how about the Eagles fan and future guest of Swing It and Ding It, Harry Higgs, gets another W. I mean, think about where he was, right? Contending on the PGA Tour, right?
Taking his shirt off at Waste Management, getting crazy.
Yep, and he gets a back-to-back win. Impressive stuff for the big fella with the plunging V.
Oh yeah, I got some tees in my bag with the Birds logo on it on the top of the tee that he uses from Harry. It's pretty great.
Nice. And he moved to second in the points list now behind Sweden's Tim Whiting. It's his 3rd Corn Ferry Tour win of his career, 2nd straight, as you mentioned, Moose, both in playoffs, by the way. He won,
made history.
Knoxville, and then the week before the Advent Health Championship, which is near his home. He's from Kansas City area, and that's a Kansas City event. So he's had 2 great ones, but those 2 wins were preceded by 3 straight missed cuts. Crazy.
Gotta find it.
Again, looking at that time, and when you're hot, you're hot. And if you guys forgot, or any listeners forgot, the Battlefield promotion is still in play. So 3 wins in a season auto puts you up to the PGA Tour. So Harry needs just 1 more.
Wow.
That's cool. That's really cool. Imagine that, getting that 3rd one.
Yeah, but just imagine how I was enjoying. I mean, Harry's just a character, so it was so fun. So not even this week. Obviously, we had some changes with the Grayson news, but the week before, like the Corn Ferry had him doing Seinfeld skits. They had him doing the cranberry juice. They had him doing everything, and he's just such a character. It was so fun, and just seeing his personality showcased, and then to come back and win back to back in playoffs. Like both of them were with an eagle too, right? I believe. Yeah, the 2nd hole this week was with an eagle. I mean, it's just so cool. So I would love to see a Battlefield promotion. I don't know if there actually has been one, or if there has one the last time.
That would be awesome.
It'd be so cool.
Yeah, that would be cool.
And then there was a major, believe it or not, on the PGA Tour Champions. I don't know if you saw any of this, but you're one of your Cleeks guys, the Live Golf Cleeks member, Richard Bland.
Big Cleeks guy over here.
Yeah, there's the
Cleeks forever. Cleeks forever.
And he takes the final round 63, which included an eagle at the par 5 15th to win by 3 shots, the Senior PGA Championship. And I looked on the PGA Tour website, and there's no picture of him. There's no article about him. There's no nothing. The only mention of him is in the leaderboard at the far right on the far right column. His name at the top, -17. That's it.
Man,
how petty is that? Seriously,
wins one of your majors,
and then they don't give him the exemption. Normally, if you win that major, you get an exemption
Yes.
into the tour. They're not giving it to him.
Nah,
getting shafted.
Wow.
No cliques, no cliques allowed. Unbelievable.
No
It's-
clique zone.
No, no, they are not happy about it.
Yeah.
Danielle,
Oh,
you have
man.
some tea to spill for us in
I
addition to
have
what
some
we
tea.
just
I
drank
actually
right
need a
there?
refill. I
We've
almost
been very
drank all
thirsty
my
the past
tea.
couple of weeks. We've had no tea.
Oh, and there were such good weeks for tea, but Harry and you both did a great job with covering it. I was
Oh yeah,
watching
you had some
Harris
tea
clips last year.
before the tea.
Or last week. Yeah. But let's get into it. Lexi Thompson, 11-time LPGA Tour winner, major champion, 2-time Olympian, 6-time U.S. Solheim Cup team member, and
Damn.
most likely one of the most recognizable faces in golf, has announced her retirement this week at the U.S. Women's Open. This will be her last year competing on the LPGA Tour, as she plans to retire from professional golf at the conclusion of the season. Did you guys see that news? It just broke.
I did.
Yeah,
I
at
did.
age what was she? 30?
She's
28.
29. She's
Or 29, pardon me. Yeah.
And this will
And-
be her 18th U.S. Open. Think about
Which is
that.
wild. I think her first
What?
one was when
She
she
was
was
11.
12 years old.
Yeah, 11,
Oh
12
my
years old. Yeah.
God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And she mentioned she has contemplated semi-retirement for the last few years. And again, bringing in mental health. She said mental health is one of the factors that contributed to her decision.
Wow.
And Harry, you were talking about the decompartmentalization and trying to focus on the next shot. It's easy for us, being behind the TV. I have a little bit of a different, view to it, but it's easy for us to say, come on, how do you miss that 5-footer or this or that? But I think one of the things that Lexi pointed out was you lose more than you win out here. And it is really tough to deal with losing week after week.
Yeah.
So she said, we all have our struggles, especially out here. And unfortunately in golf, you lose more than you win. So it's an ongoing battle to continue to put yourself out there in front of the cameras and continuing to work hard and not seeing the results you want and getting criticized for it. She's like, it's so hard. She went on to say, yes, it's lonely and she doesn't want pity. She doesn't want people to feel bad for her because she is a professional athlete, but just kind of humanizing that golf again, that I think sometimes it's easy for us to be like, oh, this guy stinks, or,
Right.
how do you miss that? Or, how do you hit that shot? But end of the day, Lexi, wow, incredible career, and announcing that, I was going to say hanging up the cleats, but I don't know if that's the exact phrase that we're looking for. But yeah, announced her retirement. So I was kind of shocked at first until I thought back to it. And as Harry and I just said, started playing her first U.S. Open at 12 years old.
12 years old.
That's wild.
Yeah.
She hasn't had a time to be a human, to be an adult, to do the, regular life things. So good luck to her. Incredible career. And
she had that one major and was part of 6 Solheim Cup teams, a 2-time Olympian. And she was the 7th woman to play in a PGA Tour event. Remember last year she played in the Shriners and almost made the cut.
Yeah.
If I remember, she was within a shot or two, I believe, of the cut. She's had runner-ups in the Women's PGA, the Evian, the U.S. Women's Open, and then finished T8 was her best appearance over in the Women's British Open. But 19 top 10s in majors in her career to go with the one win.
Hall of Famer.
Wow. Yeah.
Hall of Famer for sure. Yeah. So we can take that and we can lead that right into the U.S. Women's Open. That's where Lexi broke the news of her retirement. We saw some coverage just on the U.S. Open outlets on social media. Gabby Ruffles, who just finished T3 and 3rd in her last 2 starts, they were kind of showcasing her swing, doing a walk down the fairway with her. We also know that Nelly Corda's in the field. We have Rose. We have Harry's girl, Charlie Hull's in the field.
Yeah, smoking heaters. I didn't know she burned heaters.
Signing autograph, smoking darts.
Oh, I love her even more.
Unbelievable.
Terrific.
Where's she at? Lulu?
Yeah, right.
She's
spent a week or two prepping at the Lou, getting ready for Lancaster. Just an hour or so away.
Oh yeah, right
so
up,
good.
right up the street.
Yeah.
Yep. Are you guys going to make some time to head up that way, or?
We're considering possibly going on Friday. I got some other people going up on Friday, but
some feet on ground, swinging, ding it. Harry Mays takes to Lancaster Country Club for the.
No, it's Lancaster. Now, this is one of my pet peeves because I'm going to have to deal with all these golf nudniks all week long mispronounce the name Lancaster. They're going to go Lancaster and all these other.
I call it Lancaster.
Ways of saying it. It's Lancaster.
Lancaster. Like, do you say water or water, Harry?
I say water.
Water.
Yeah.
So you're getting some Italian water ice.
Yeah. Water ice, correct. Not
Water.
water ice. Yeah. But yeah, Nelly plus
WOODER.
350 to win. That's like Scotty Scheffler numbers, right? The
Mhm.
next closest favorite is Rose. You mentioned Rose Zhang,
Mhm.
D, plus 1,800. How about that drop off
Ooh.
from top to second? Brooke Henderson,
She had
who
some
I
cool
kind of
glasses
like.
she was wearing, though. If you saw that on social, she had like these aviator clear frames on.
Who,
I don't know
Rose?
what.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she always wears those.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
they're
were pretty cool.
badass, actually. I
Yeah.
like those.
Gives her some character.
Brooke Henderson plus 225 and a top 10 looks pretty juicy. And Anaka Foodaway from Japan is somebody I might put a few dollars on.
What about Gabby
I'm going to
Russell?
be paying more
Any
attention to
numbers
this.
on her?
Yeah, I can get it.
And the
So
weather looks like it's going to be great here.
Oh, it's going to
all
be
week,
fantastic.
Right? So it's
finally,
nice.
Moose.
Yeah.
Finally.
You're not kidding. I played in the Memorial. Well, we'll get into that after. Let's let Danielle wrap her tee up. We'll talk about our own challenges on the golf course.
Yeah, we'll just get into one other little element of tea, and then we can wrap it from there. We asked Rusk what he thought about the state of golf and this and that, and he was kind of talking about older players and mentioning some champion tour guys, talking about the live guys, saying how he missed Brooks and and Bryson, but let's talk about the next generation of golf, PGA Tour U. So we will be seeing this year, the first team. So by virtue of finishing number 1, Michael Thorbjornsen, never easy to say, earned his from Stanford, earned his PGA Tour membership for the remainder of the 2024 season and 2025 season by finishing number 1. So for first team players who finished number 2 through 5 in the final PGA Tour U ranking earn fully exempt Korn Ferry Tour membership for the remainder of 2024 season, as well as exemption to final stage of 2024 PGA Tour Q School. And then they also have the ability to accept unlimited PGA Tour sponsor exemptions for the remainder of 24 and 25. So those players are, as I said, Michael Thorbjornsen, Christo Lamprich, Austin Greaser, Matthew Rydell, Nicholas Gabrielic. And then second team, I won't list them, but second in the final PGA Tour U ranking, they earn conditional Korn Ferry Tour membership for 2024, fully exempt for the PGA Tour of Americas. And then they also get exemption to second stage of PGA Tour School. So kind of cool to see what changes they're doing. I think it's pretty cool for golf. At first, I was like, I don't know how I like this, seeing the grind of other guys going through Latin and Webb / Korn Ferry and everything else and seeing how they get there. But then the more I talk to guys about it, it's like, look, you get drafted for the NBA, you get drafted for MLB, you get drafted for every other major sport. So I feel like PGA Tour U is kind of a draft in a sense, or in a way, if you will. So I'm warming up more and more to it, and I'm kind of excited to see this next wave of young bucks come through.
Yeah, and I think it's also a way to keep them from going to live. I mean, this came about right at the same time, or pretty close to it. They want to maintain that young talent in the college ranks and not have them, because a couple of the guys have gone over to live from college.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
Yeah. But then they just have to maintain their status.
Plus 4,500 for Gabby Ruffles.
Okay.
At the US Open.
All right. We'll keep an eye on that.
Juicy.
It is.
Juicy.
It is. I put out on social media earlier, we probably have room for maybe 2 more foursomes in our outing right now.
I saw that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're listening and you wanted to get in, you got to get in. I don't.
If I have my baby in the next week, will you make an exemption?
you
make
get
an
an
exception
automatic
for me to fly back.
You get an automatic exemption, and you know that.
He still tells that story. He's like, she committed to playing in the swing and outing when it was 2 weeks after our due date. I'm like,
well, let's keep an open mind here.
You got priorities.
yeah, no doubt about it. And we'll be back next week with our DraftKings contest. Took a little week off after a major. Always a bit of a letdown for a couple weeks. leading into this, but I do want to talk about our friends at All Access, because I know I've talked to a lot of people. It's funny, you saw that video of the golf bags being launched by the Delta, wonderful folks at Delta. I just purchased one of those things you stick in the bag that protects your clubs for my trip to Pebble Beach. I'm like, I'm not dealing with this.
Oh,
but,
yeah. Pro tip too. Take one of your towels and wrap it. Take your golf and everything else for some extra padded protection.
And take your driver head off.
Yes.
Bring your tool and take your driver head off, because that's the
or just get a hard
thing that
shell
breaks.
case like me, and you don't have to worry about any of this crap.
Right. Or talk to our friends at All Access, and they'll make sure your stuff gets to and from the best possible way, because that's what they do for a living. So head to the link in our Instagram bio for a special portal for our listeners to unlock the golf experiences you've always dreamed of. The team at All Access has decades of experience in crafting unforgettably tailored golf adventures, from casual outings to luxurious getaways. Elevate your golf experience with All Access GTE. Special opportunities for our listeners to unlock the experiences they've always dreamed of. Just head to the link in our Instagram bio. Love the guys over at All Access. We got to get something on the books. When Danielle's gonna be ready, in about
I'm ready.
6 to 8 months to a year, she'll be ready to go. She'll be ready to go. We head north, Harry. Edmonton Oilers lost a tough one to the Dallas Stars. That's all they care about in that part of the country. But the RBC Canadian Open, if you're sponsored by RBC, you're playing in this golf outing. You have 7 of the top 30, including 2-time Canadian Open winner, your boy, Rory McIlroy, who's making some headlines, Danielle.
Yeah, we got to get to
Just
that.
a few.
I didn't.
We didn't even touch on that in the tee.
I thought the tee was headed there, and the tee did not go there.
I mean, we could circle back, but
yeah, we definitely have to circle back on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like that was last week too. So I was,
That's all right.
We didn't touch it,
No, let's run it back.
It wasn't because it wasn't confirmed at that point. Not that it's confirmed now, but it's out there now with Amanda Balionis, who mysteriously has no pictures of her husband.
Has also
Renner.
filed for
Any of her social
divorce,
media.
hasn't worn a ring in how long?
You have Rory holding puppies at her events. I mean, hey, just want to see people happy. That's all that matters.
There's news that, I mean, it's all over Twitter, X, if you will. And if you go on there, there's a guy who's giving inside information. His sister works at a restaurant. He went
Starbucks,
there.
I think. Wasn't it a Starbucks in her neighborhood in San Diego? And Rory came in to pick up her order in a ball cap pulled down over his head, but he was recognized. I think that's where this all came from.
I didn't see a Starbucks.
That's good for a professional golfer to hide in a cap.
Right. Well, I see him at the Stars down here all the time. So I don't know.
Taking it off, it would have been harder.
Right.
The inside info that I saw that was like screenshot of the DMs and stuff online said it was a restaurant where he came in. The order was under her name, but he paid cash. So there was no trail.
Right.
He was also out there a couple of days early ahead of when he should have been. Obviously, the Mother's Day mention of his mom, no mention of his wife. Then he flies back to Florida, files for divorce, yada, yada, yada. So there also was some news that Greg Norman offered the two of them a substantial amount of money to come over together.
Oh my
Yes. So that's also circulating. So the tea is hot, and that's the news we have.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Balionis is from Lancaster too, by the way.
Lancaster.
So it all comes full circle.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
Man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
She's okay. Good for her. In addition to Rory, we have Sahith, we have Fleetwood, Cam Young, Cam Burns, back to the golf. And
Sam Burns is Sam Burns still playing golf?
Yeah, Ryder Cupper, right? It's I swear to God, I wrote his name down, and I'm like, man, like what is he?
Where's he been? I know
run it back like 12 episodes, and I said the same thing. I'm like, wait, he finished? He's out? Huh?
Yeah,
he's where?
Yeah. Adam Hadwin is having some. Speaking about airline troubles, his clubs are still in Denver.
Are they really?
They're not going to make it. I think his wife just posted that she was on a tarmac for like 3.5 hours and did not get on a plane. So the Hadwins are having some issues getting back to.
She's hilarious on social media. She's so funny. She's such a good follow. If you guys aren't following her,
yeah.
But it's great. Like at that point, I mean, it's like, hey, if they're still not getting here, like just go to the trucks and have them make a new set.
Yeah, exactly. But you might want to keep an eye if you liked him for this, because that could really throw a guy off. But let's talk about the course, of course. Harry May's Hamilton Golf and Country Club in Ontario.
Yeah, this is the 7th time it'll be hosting the Canadian Open. Last time was in 2019, won by Rory McIlroy. It has gone through an $8.5 million restoration by Martin Ebert, but it's a Harry Colt design, an original Harry Colt, and that's classic stuff. Way back in 1916, par 70, shorter course, about 7,100 yards. As far as the holes of note, they put the hockey rink, which I know is Moose's favorite hole in golf because it combines his two favorite sports, hockey and golf, with the hockey boards. They have a Zamboni right there.
Let's get some jam in here. Let's go.
They'll be the fans will be, banging on the tapping sticks as you do. But I think it's the par 3 13th hole. They call it the rink. This is the 6th year they've been doing this, and it is actually a pretty cool thing. 209 yards, elevated tee, undulating and angled green. It's an uphill shot to a false front with one of those deception bunkers that, is short of the green, makes it look like it's a lot closer. Old school design trait there, and a bunker near the front left corner. The finishing holes, par 3 16th hole, 180 yards uphill, shortest of all the par 3s. Several deep bunkers protect. You cannot miss left. One of the characteristics of this golf course, there's bunkers everywhere, and they're deep. The par 5 17th hole, 580 yards, played as the easiest hole back in 2019. Another elevated tee. I think I'd like playing here because I love elevated tees, and this place seems to have a lot of them. There's trees on both sides of the fairway, 3 staggered bunkers to the left and the right of the first landing area, and then from the second landing area to the green, there's 6 bunkers that loom all over the place. The green slopes to the back, and it's really tough for rear pins. The par 4 18th hole, 460 yards, the toughest hole back in 2019 as it played. Another elevated tee. You got Ancaster Creek, not Lancaster, but Ancaster Creek, that crosses the fairway about 295 yards out. So that's a pretty good spot to catch a pro's drive, 295, 300. Approach shots climb 175 to 200 yards uphill to an amphitheater green, a great finishing hole. And hopefully we'll have some more drama on Sunday because we had none last week.
No, we did not. We did not. Putting, Harry. You got to putt here.
Yes.
8 of the top 10 winners at Hamilton were also in the top 10 strokes gained putting, which obviously, right? But sometimes that's not the case, but that is absolutely the case here. Well, let's see the line with our friends from DraftKings. So if you're going to be watching any of this week's tournament, here's a better pro tip than you'll get from any caddy. Check out DraftKings Sportsbook, an official betting operator of the PGA Tour, and get in on all the action. From the first tee shot through the final putt, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered with same-game parlays, live betting, odds boosts, and so much more. New to DraftKings? Listen up. New customers can get a no-sweat bet up to $1,500. Just deposit at least $5, and you'll get a bonus bet back equal to your first bet if it doesn't hit. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code DING. That's code DING, D-I-N-G, for new customers to get a no-sweat bet up to $1,500 if your first bet doesn't hit. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Who you liking, Harry?
I was looking at Aaron Rye as a top 10 pick, plus 330 on DraftKings. He was 3rd in this tournament last year, but that doesn't really apply because it was at a different golf course. But he's playing well. He was 4th at the Byron Nelson. He was 7th at Houston a little while back. Give me Aaron Rye, top 10. Mackenzie Hughes, I got to go with one of these Canadians. And a top 20 at plus 170. He's been playing some pretty good golf this year, too. Mark Hubbard has been playing well of late. Top 30 at plus money, plus 150 for a top 30. Your boy, EVR, Eric Van Rooyen, in a top 30 at plus 120. He was 20th back in 2019 when they did play it at this golf course. So obviously he's had some decent success on this very track. And I'm taking Shane Lowry in my one and done. He was 2nd in this tournament when it was played here back in 2019 to his boy Rory McIlroy. Yeah. And I wondered why Taylor Pendrith was getting so disrespected, not only in DraftKings for fantasy, where he's priced at $7,600. This guy won not too long ago, right? At the Byron Nelson, I believe he won. And he's a Canadian, And, he's played half decent in this Canadian Open in the past. He's made 6 of 13 cuts with 4 top 10s, including the win. And his numbers are terrible, I thought. And I'm wondering why. Well, he's playing with Rory McIlroy in that group. And I think there's going to be such madness with that group.
Around
2
Rory.
Canadians, including Penrith, with Rory might
Wow.
be a little too much for him to take, according to the odds makers. Maybe that's why they got him priced that
Wow.
way. Thought
Wow.
that was
Interesting. Yeah, I didn't even
Yeah.
think about the group pairing
Yeah.
with that, but yeah, that'll definitely be a popular group people are following.
Yeah, Harry, I like that Lowry play. I'm going to go with Fleetwood in the one and done. I like him
yeah.
in this
He
tournament.
finished second last year, right?
Yeah.
Nick Taylor
Yeah.
hit that putt on him.
His number's short. He's right behind Rory at 1,600.
I feel so. I was telling B the other day, not last week, maybe a week or two ago. I'm like, man, I just feel. At first, I was kind of annoyed by him. I'm like, he's pouty. I feel like he's being a baby. Like, I don't like how he is on the course. But now I'm like, wow, okay. I kind of feel bad for him. Like, it's, I mean, look at his last 10 starts. I don't have that, those numbers in front of me, but he's played pretty well, and he's had a couple, top 10, if not top 5s. And I'm like, something's going to give for him soon.
I
Yeah.
picked him at the RBC Heritage. He finished 40th or something.
The other name that we've heard a lot of that I could see getting a win here is Alex Noren. He's got
Yeah.
a
He's been
T23 or
trending.
better in his
Yep.
last
Low-key
8
trending.
starts.
Yeah.
T12 at the PGA. All that being said, I have a feeling this is going to be a mid to bottom of the board winner for this one, right? When you see all these guys, because I even, Tom Kim, I like his number at 3,500. I just see this being someone down a little bit if it's not Rory, right? If that makes any sense. I think
Like an
Rory
Aaron
run away
Rai.
with this. I like an
Yeah,
Aaron
with
Rai.
all the
Give
news
that to
coming
you.
out about Rory, people were like, "Oh, he's not going to play well," and he's been fine. He's been playing well. So
Yeah, he's been playing better.
yeah,
2 matchups though. I'm going Canadian with the matchups though.
Okay.
Harry. I'm going to do Mackenzie
maple
Hughes
syrup.
minus 120 over Akshay. This is not anywhere near a palm tree or a beach.
There's
No,
no palm
right.
trees in Toronto.
Nope.
That's right.
And Corey Connors minus 120 over Cam Young.
But wait, what is? It's not even Toronto, is it?
Ontario.
I did a post for
Hamilton.
Brad.
Hamilton,
Oh,
Ontario.
I did a post for Brad because he was up there. He was hosting an RBC Q&A with Corey Connors and Mackenzie Hughes, and I put the location down, and I said Toronto, and people were going nuts, and they're like, "No, it's Hamilton, not
Yeah, it's
Toronto."
Hamilton.
Yeah.
And I was
Lancaster.
like, "All right, I'm gonna
right.
Lancaster, Water."
Right. Mackenzie Hughes is from Hamilton, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did. I looked in on the location, then I was like, all right, it is
Mhm.
Hamilton, not Toronto. But he flew
So-
into Toronto. He told me he was in Toronto.
Danielle, Harry and I have been sharing a little bit more about our trials and tribulations on the golf course for ourselves. We feel like the folks relate to that, right? Because we're all out there trying to get better. I didn't get out as much as I wanted to, but I
don't want to
play-
interrupt you, but your daughter. What do you think, honey? Can we go back to the pool? I was
Yeah.
dead.
Was that great?
It was
I mean,
so
you couldn't
good.
have scripted that any better.
I
Like, oh,
showed
yeah,
it to
great.
B.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
like, whatever.
Couldn't have cared less. But that was our Memorial Day tournament. A lot of fun. Legacy Club always does a great job at tournaments. It sucks because the nasty storms rolled in. Of course, just when we get nice weather, now we're
We
dealing
just
with thunderstorms.
finished ours.
I did.
Right?
We did too because we
Yeah.
went out at 8 because it wasn't a shotgun; it was staggered. So they got I actually think everyone finished. They went back out
Yeah.
after because everyone just kind of hung out.
Uh-huh.
But a lot of fun. And Harry, we talked about it last time about finishing our swing. When I concentrate on doing it, things were starting to happen.
Yeah.
Things were starting to happen.
There you go.
How about I had?
So that's your swing thought right now that's working for you? Just
finish it?
I just got to finish. You just got to end up on the, not
Roll.
because
Get
I hang
forward.
back.
Turn.
I
Get
blame
forward.
it as a hockey player. I blame it on Mark Recchi. Remember how Mark Recchi had that fall away snapshot?
Mhm.
Well, that's all I tried to do for years, and I think I'm falling away out
And
of
that's
my golf
not the
swing.
golf. Yeah, you're
So
falling.
I
out of your
blame
posture.
Rex
Yeah.
for that. But yeah, I think I even got a skin out of it because I had I was getting a stroke on a par 3 and I birdied it.
Mm.
So
Hey.
net 1. So yeah. How
Well,
about you?
golf-
I know you were working on a similar thing, right?
Yeah.
With getting to your left side. How's
Well,
that going?
yeah,
How's it going?
and found out that perhaps the takeaway has a lot to do with it. Taking the club a little bit inside has helped me get it forward after impact because I don't have to reroute the golf club by taking it. I used to take it a little bit outside, and when you do that, I'd have to reroute it a touch, and that would sometimes
Manually,
keep
yeah.
me on my backside through impact. So taking it away a little inside has helped. Played Friday, I had 6 pars and a birdie. I birdied the 11th hole and I actually almost dunked it with a pitching wedge. Driver pitching
Wow.
wedge,
Ooh,
400-yard
11
hole. I had
stuff.
driver pitching wedge. Not bad. Remember
Wow.
the
Yeah,
goofy hole?
That's the one that I go over.
Well, yeah, some people cut the corner and try, big hitters, but I can't do that. But I had a pitching wedge in.
It's tough too
and
because
made
you could be on a
7-footer.
tough lie.
Oh, yeah.
Depending on where that first shot goes. I mean,
Oh,
it's a
yeah,
pretty
it's crooked.
steep.
It's a crooked lie. No doubt about it. But yeah, so I played a little
Nice.
bit better on Friday. Saturday or Sunday was kind of back to a lot of tough breaks and did not play as well. And then Monday played in the tournament, like your tournament, and made a birdie on the number 1 handicap hole, the 5th hole. So yeah, things are getting better.
Yeah, I think I'm playing Bala this week again.
Oh wow!
Early morning round one day.
Talk about small greens and small targets.
Yeah. That's a fun course to work on your iron shots and your approach shots for sure. But yeah, I mean, my goal is like we said, Danielle, I want to, do well in the Green Valley member guest coming up in 2 weeks. I'm tuning up for that. And then when I go out to Pebble Beach for the iHeart trip, I just, I don't want to embarrass myself out there in front of clients. I want to do well. But Har, do you
maybe in
remember
preparation for that though, Moose, coming off of, the greatest roast of all time with Tom Brady, which is pretty funny. I watched it just the other day. I broke it up into a couple of segments. So good. Maybe we should take you, Harry, and my swing and put it on our socials and have people maybe not roast them, but give us some tips and see what they say. And
I'm sure
see if
that
we
would
could
go.
apply it.
Sure, that would go. Sure, that would go well.
Hey, it's for the engagement. It's to build the social.
Harry, I mean, you remember the old Moose bombs that were.
Oh yeah.
And then when I had my health issues, they disappeared. I just didn't have the strength in me to do it. I got news for you.
Coming back.
It's coming back.
Did you guys see Adam Sandler? He did the Happy Gilmore. He said, first time I don't believe him. First time redoing it in how many years? But he still got it
a little while ago. But they're posting it now because they're announcing the
new one. There's a
movie coming out.
I don't know how I feel about remakes though. I still will not touch the new Space Jam. It's like no, there's no other Space Jam.
No.
What do you do it? No.
What is Space Jam?
Harry Mays. You're not.
I never saw Space Jam, and I
gotta go. You're not being serious, are you?
Yeah, I am.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a classic. Harry.
Even like my nephew, he's like, "Oh, I like basketball." I was like, "You sit here and watch this movie."
Danielle, have you picked up the club since Casa de Campo, or are you done now? Are you shut down?
I need to get another round, and if I can, we actually were going to play on Monday, but with our friend Gabby and her fiance Dan, but she had her cousins in town, so we actually ended up going to a Dave Matthews concert instead, because we were like, we don't want to just end. I mean, I'm just too competitive. I'm like, I'm not just going to be like, hey, let's just go get a twosome to join us, and we're going to finish like, 65th. I was like, if I'm out here for 18 holes, 8 months pregnant, I want to win. You can ask Brandon's dad. I don't like, falling anything under like 10th place. So I would be miserable if I was a professional athlete.
I love it.
So well, no, listen, I didn't play, but I will be. I'm going to try to squeeze 1 or 2 more rounds in if I can.
Nice. Had a big week for us. I mean, you look at that forecast. We got to get out there as much as possible.
I'm out tomorrow at 1:50.
All right, beautiful. And we got to get the great Sean Palmer from the Union League ended us a nice offer to get out there. So you and I need to figure that out and take him up on that. We'll figure out which one of the amazing Union League courses we want to go to, but you can't go wrong. That's for sure. But I would like to check out the Landing, the little par 3 course. So maybe it's a Torresdale 18 and then a short course. We'll see.
Fine with me.
Yeah.
No time to watch golf.
Maybe we just play all 3,
There you go.
Do a Union League tour. Awesome, guys. Thank you, Danielle. Welcome back.
Thank you. It feels good to be back. Harry, go watch Space Jam.
Yeah, Harry, you got to watch Space Jam. The original, not the remake.
Yes, not the LeBron, the Michael Jordan.
Yeah. And thanks again to Jon Rusk from Lulu, and congrats again to the Lulu folks, the boys out there getting it done, getting the dub. Good for them. We'll be back next week to recap the RBC Canadian Open, see who gets it done. See you then.